Hi friends, this is Laura with Potpourri of Life. Hope you're having a great day. Today what I'm here to share with you is how to dehydrate asparagus, and I'm going to make some fermented tomato sauce so that I can use it later in the week for making some pasta, or a sauce over a pasta dish or a meat dish or whatever I choose to use it for. So there's two things going on today, and one is the asparagus. I've started cutting them down, real pretty ones, and I'm going to start my water because what I'm doing is I'm blanching them. Once the water gets up there, it'll be ready to be blanched, and I'm just waiting for the water to boil, so I'm just going to start adding these in there. And you can tell that they're fresh just by the fact that they snap in half when I do this. The top parts are going to be used for a snack, such as the zucchini chips and stuff. Or we can use them to rehydrate and have in dishes. I tried canning last year and I did not like how the asparagus turned out. And I have about, let's see, I think I counted 5 quarts of asparagus left over that I have to figure out how am I going to use them because they were canned and I really didn't like them that way. So I thought, well, since we love asparagus, I was thinking, okay, I'm going to dehydrate them, and then what I can do after that is I can rehydrate them when I want to put them in a stir fry or into a dish that has asparagus throughout the winter months. So that's what I'm going to do. In addition, what I'm going to be doing is the stalk part where it's the solid part. Let me see. This part here. That I'm going to be making into more asparagus powder. I don't know if you can see that. I showed it before. The lighting is weird, so I don't know if you can see it. But anyways, I'm going to be making some both asparagus powder to put in for flavoring or green smoothies, whatever. The stems will be used in cooking. While that is getting ready, I had shared with you that I've been wanting to make a fermented tomato sauce. And I got this information from Stacy from Stacy and Doug's Homesteading. I will leave a link for you to follow her. She was sharing about how to do this, and I thought, oh, that's great because I have some tomatoes that are ripe, but I don't have a lot to can up, and I'm not one to eat tons of tomatoes, except maybe in a salad and stuff, but I don't eat tons, and as the tomatoes start coming through, we're going to be going through them fast. And at first I didn't know if we would be successful with the tomatoes, but I've been out in the garden, and there's a lot of tomatoes, and some of those those tomatoes that just grew from the soil, those look to be cherry tomatoes. So in saying that, it looks like I'll be making some tomato juice, and because that's what I'm going to use them for. We'll enjoy them. I do like cherry tomatoes fresh from the garden. I don't like them from the grocery store, but I also don't like them sitting on my counter for a long time. So what I'll do is I'll end up making some tomato sauce with them. And but for now, what I'm doing is I am going to make some fermented tomato sauce. And how you do that is you just get a quart jar. And in this situation, this is when you can repurpose your canning lids, because all you're doing is fermenting. You are not sealing them to be shelf stable. You're fermenting them so that you can have them in your refrigerator, and I will share how to do this. So the first thing that we want to do, and I'm going to change the camera angle here, is to take the where the stem was, take that out and get rid of that, and chop them in 4ths or 8ths. You can tell that they're ready to cook because they're kind of squishy, and this is when they're really ripe, is when you want to use them. And you don't have to peel them. That was the cool thing about it. And you just start putting them in your jar. The other thing that you want to put in here, I took an onion. She does not use an onion. I've decided to put some onion in here because when I make a sauce, I like to have some onion in there. So I'm just going to cut it up into about 8 pieces. And so I have 8 pieces of onion that are going in. The other thing that I got ready were some garlics. I got 2 cloves of garlic, and I'm going to cut that piece off. Hold on. That one's. And just put these into the jar as well. Okay, I know it sounds like it's too simple. Trust me, when I was watching Stacy, I'm thinking, no way, this is just too easy. This is kind of exciting because sometimes we just want something simple and we don't want our tomatoes to go bad. Right now with the price of food, you do not want your food to go bad if you can avoid it. So, and the other thing that she put in was basil. And although I don't generally eat basil because of allergies, I'm putting it in here for flavor. And when I go to use it for a sauce, I can't say sauce today. When I go to use it for a sauce, I will take it out. But smell-o-vision, it smells delightful. Those of you who like basil and can have it, it smells wonderful. I'm not sure if I like this thing that I bought to take off the tomato pieces, so I'm going to just cut away and get these done. Same thing with the tomatoes, is cut off the bad pieces if you have any, and cut them down into 4 pieces or whatever. Now these are small tomatoes. These, I'll show you how big these are, and they're all about the same size. And you just fill this jar. This is the size of the tomatoes. They're all about the same size. I have nothing more in my garden. So there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So you generally want to make sure that you fill your quart-sized jar as full as you can, because this is a ferment. You want to make sure that it's fermented really well. My husband's home this week. I think I'm going to have him sharpen my knives because I really need that done. So as I said, you're keeping the skins on. And when I go to use this sauce, I will also videotape myself doing that. Now, what's the benefit of fermenting your tomatoes, or any food for that matter, is the probiotics that you'll have in it. Now, I don't personally like to purchase probiotic supplements at all. It's almost at the boiling point for the asparagus. Why? Because there's just so many additives in a lot of processed foods that are on the market, including that of supplements. So, and I shared a while back a video on how even medically speaking, there was an article, I can link it below, about how supplements are not necessarily as well put together as we might think, or we would like to think. So you guys are getting bored there. So what I do is I prefer to make my own foods with probiotics, but another way to prevent the need for probiotics is making sure that you're eating healthy and making your own foods that have probiotic benefits. That's even better. That's the healthier way to go about it. I have fermented carrots. I've fermented onions, garlic. I'm trying to think what else I might have fermented. It's great because all I have to do is when I need some, I take it out of the refrigerator and I just put it into my dish. So if I want carrots, you know, and I don't have any fresh, I can take them out of what I've preserved. And doing this, fermenting your vegetables, actually preserves them for a bit. And they'll preserve, estimate about 6 months. So maybe you might want to do this towards the end of summer when you have so many tomatoes and you don't want to sit over a hot stove. That is an option. Okay, this is boiling now, so I'm going to put this on for 2 minutes. I'm going to just boil them, blanching them for about 2 minutes. The reason I'm blanching the asparagus is to keep that lovely, lovely green color. So you can pretty much ferment just about anything. I was gonna dip down because I forgot my camera was up high. And it's a natural form of probiotics, so you don't have to go to the drugstore or order online to have probiotics. Use that money more wisely for if you want to invest in herbs, or if there's other things, or just right now with the urgency of food shortages, buy an extra can of something, buy something different, go to the farmer's market and pick up something that you can preserve or enjoy. Let's get 1 more minute. And I've got 2 more tomatoes. What I do is I've got seeds landing on my cutting board. Now there's seeds going right into the ferment, of course. But what I will do is I will take the seeds that are on my cutting board and put them on a paper towel to dry so that I have tomato seeds for next year. I would rather have them so I can plant them and know exactly where they'll pop up instead of throwing them into my compost and then have all these volunteer plants, which is what I have this year. So hang on, we're almost done here, and I want to show you what you do to prepare this for the fermentation process. Okay, turning off the water here. Okay. And yes, I normally pull my hair back when I'm cooking, but today I'm not really getting deep inside here. So the next thing that I want to do, here's my quart jar of tomatoes and my garlic and an onion and some basil. Now I didn't put in a lot of basil, but you can put in more. The next thing you want to do, and this is going to help with the fermentation, and like, as you know, I don't like putting salt in much, but this is for a different purpose. This is for fermenting, and you need the salt to do that. So this is 100% salt. It's a pure salt that does not, it's real salt. It has no iodine in it. So I'm putting 4 teaspoons of salt in. And like I said, since lids are so expensive, oops, sorry for the glare, we don't want to waste them. So I save my lids to do some canning that with the pump, the pump that I've done before. But in this case, we can also reuse the metal lids. So you put it on and you can see the dent from when I previously opened it. And then you shake and you get some arm muscles going. What is happening in here is you're macerating the tomatoes, so all the juice is coming out. Now I'm going to go out and see if I have more tomatoes later, because I would really like to have this jar completely full, because that's what you should try to do. But I was just out there 5 minutes before I came in, and I have a tomato, but it's not red. It's not really ready for me to even have in a salad today. So I'm just going to have to deal with this and you just shake it about, and it will soften the skins. And remember, the skins are good for you as well. So I'm going to put that aside while I take out my asparagus. Let's see, how am I going to do that today? So now what I'm going to be doing is, while the tomatoes are sitting there, I'm going to take the asparagus out and put it on my dehydrator. I have 3 round shelves that I'm going to be putting them on, and then I'll put them in the dehydrator. But so you just take them out, and the asparagus looks nice, looks beautiful. And yes, I washed everything down, so everything should be nice and sanitary. And I believe the 3 trays will be sufficient. This way, this tray will be inside dehydrating. Look like the sun's coming out. It's kind of like competing with an overcast today, so I would rather use the dehydrator inside. I'm in the process of looking into using a dehydrator, an air dehydrator that just uses the outdoor air, the airflow. No electricity and stuff. I'm just looking at options to save on electricity. Hoping to make it to the farmer's market again this week, but with my husband being home, I might end up doing a few other things. Maybe get out and do some fishing with him instead. But I also want to get some sewing in. Okay, so that's all set. I'm going to be putting that. Aren't they beautiful? Nice and green, so when they get dehydrated, they will come out nice and green as well. Did I have to blanch them? I recommend it because it will keep that green color, and that's what's appealing, and that makes people want to enjoy the asparagus. So I'll be making some of that. So throughout the day, just shake this up. And this is going to be on your counter for about 3 days. Unless the temperature is like over 100 degrees in your home, it'll ferment faster. So about 3 days on your counter. If you don't use it within that time, then what you do is you just take it and put it in the refrigerator for up to 6 months. So if you have a lot of tomatoes that you're not going to get to can anytime soon, and you have tomatoes on salads, on different dishes, this is a great opportunity for you to put these things away without heating up your house. Now, if you don't have the refrigerator space, then be very careful about how much you make. Now, we have a spare refrigerator downstairs that this is what I put down there. Like when I get an extra pound of butter or an extra gallon of milk for my husband, that's what it's for. But I have room to do this, and that's where my extra carrots, my extra, I did onions, garlic. Yeah, I think I listed it before, but that's what you can do with it. So these are 2 very simple things of preserving your food. Now, I hope to get out and see if I can find more asparagus. It's late in the season to find the asparagus. My preferred asparagus option are the thin stalks, and the last time I got these at the farmer's market, I asked him, I said, I want thin stalks. He goes, they're coming in all mixed up. So I had to take what they had, and then I got these at the grocery store the other day because we like asparagus, and I like to have it throughout the year, and it's hard to find. And if the food becomes hard to get, and I don't grow asparagus, I'd like to, but it takes a couple years from my understanding before you actually get fruit from your work. So in saying that, we hope to be able to grow some, but in the meantime, I want to make sure I have plenty on hand so that we can still enjoy asparagus throughout the year, whether in a smoothie, whether in a baked good, or whether just in a dish. So, and I could even take some of the asparagus powder when I get all the other spaghetti stuff and I decide, oh, I'm going to make a spaghetti sauce. Then I can take diced tomatoes I might have canned, take asparagus, and put in whatever I want. I know that might sound gross to some people, but if you really like your vegetables, it's actually kind of nice to have those different flavors. It gives your dinners something different each time you have it. So it's kind of gives it a wow factor. So I hope this was helpful, informative. I know it was short, but that's, well, maybe not as short as you might have liked. But I hope it was resourceful. I got two topics done in one, but there were things that needed to get done, and I just felt that it was just much easier for me, and I hope that's okay with you. But now here, yeah, I hope it was okay with you because it was okay with me. So throughout the day, you know, every hour or two, I'll come and I'll shake this. It looks like I'm going to have, not a quart, it looks like I'm going to end up with a pint. And as I go along, if this shrinks down, I will probably put it in a pint jar. If I had more tomatoes, I would fill this baby right up. I don't. So, but you'll see, I don't know if you can see with the lighting, the colors of the basil, and you can put Italian type seasonings in this. You don't have to stay with basil. You can use oregano. You can put whatever you want in this. I decided to kind of stick with her basil recipe because I wanted to give it a try, and what I'll do when I go to consume it, I will take the basil out. So I'm going to just use it as a flavoring, but I won't consume the actual basil leaf, which is kind of unfortunate because basil is a beautiful herb. It smells fabulous, adds color, but my body will not like it. So I have to be very careful on how I consume it, and this is one way in which I can. So I hope you have a great day. It's really getting warm, and I hope that you're staying cool. So have a fabulous day. Do some of these things if it's of interest, and may you have a beautiful afternoon. God bless.